Welcome back to Fade to Chat, Golden Age Cinema. I'm here with co-host Cindy Rotz. I'm Marty Gensius, and glad that you've joined us for this episode of Fade to Chat. And this was a Cindy pick for this movie. Reluctantly, I agreed because I had never seen this movie before, and there was some aftertaste in my mouth about seeing these gothic horror kind of thrillers. I liked more that it was more of a psychological thriller than it was a gothic horror kind of film. And we're talking about shot in black and white for that extra special horror effects in it. Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte from 1964. And so I guess usually when the other person picks the movie, the person that sees the movie for the first time or has acquiesced to go, yeah, we'll do that movie, gets the first take on this. I'm going to say straight up front, this week I only had an opportunity to watch it once. And I watched it in two parts. I watched about the first hour of it, stopped, and then watched the second hour of it. And I think you're getting closer to what I like. Not that you've ever been far away from that. I would have, coming into this movie, thought, well, this is a 2 out of 10. Coming out of the movie, it's probably like a 7 out of 10 for me. I want to go back and I want to watch it again. Now, I got to tell folks up front, I don't think we're shy about giving reveals on this. So it allows us to talk more about what scenes impacted us and what. So you will probably hear some spoilers. I've never taken spoilers seriously personally because, I'm going to watch whatever I'm going to watch if I know the spoilers because I think it's interesting content and I want to see how it's done, not just hear how it's done. So Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte had some surprises for me. And then there were some points where it's like, yeah, I know who did it. So I want to go back and watch it a second time to do a couple of things. I want to look at the cinematography because there's a great effort made in the film to shoot from a particular point of view and a particular frame of mind. And in this case, Bette Davis's frame of mind, and then an external frame where we're seeing what actually is or isn't happening versus what's going on from Bette Davis's frame of mind. So I need to go back and watch it a second time from that purpose, from a cinematography purpose. Because when I was watching it the first time, I'm like, wait a minute, why are we getting that wavy fade away kind of? It just doesn't seem like it fits. And so now I want to go back, knowing what the resolution was of the movie, go back and check that out. So on the positive side, I'm not moaning and complaining and going, but it was captivating for me in terms of the movie, particularly when I came back and started to watch the second half of it. The first half kind of moved. Now there are some cast members I think we need to talk about that. One in particular that I'm particularly touched by in terms of his history and background. There's also some history of the movie and trivia. So Cindy, let's hear your perspective.
Well, I'm so glad that you would give it a 7 out of 10. That makes me feel really good. As you know, I watched this movie as a young child, and it had been a very, very long time since I had seen it. And when I was younger, I said I couldn't watch it alone. I watched it with my sister and my cousins, and I just didn't sleep like that night I watched it. I thought it was just, terrifying. Of course, now watching it as an adult, there's still parts of it that are scary in a way, but it doesn't it doesn't have that same effect on me. And what I realized is I saw a different point of view watching it this time. I saw it more like you were saying, the gaslighting and more of the psychological part, where when I was little, it was just scary, because we'll talk about why it was
You were waiting
scary.
for another
But
head to roll down the
yeah,
down the
yeah,
stairwell.
and a
Yeah.
hand to be chopped off and a body to come down the stairs. And I really appreciated the acting much more.
Mm.
Agnes Moorehead in particular, and Olivia de Havilland. I love her. And we need to watch The Heiress at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
Was
that's
it?
on your list.
Yeah. So
Um,
I had a whole different perspective watching it this time. And I actually wrote down, I said, if I had a top 10 of movies, and I'm not going to rank it at this point, but this would be on my top 10, I think,
Interesting.
of just
I mean,
all time favorite movies.
my experience of watching movies growing up was it had to be playing either at the Roy Rogers Theater at Belmont Cragen, or it had to be playing at the Luna. And the Luna was like a very much smaller second run thing. Then
Okay.
we didn't go to a lot of movies. I got dropped off at the Roy Rogers on Saturday morning while my parents shopped, and they did a kids show. And so I don't recall any of it, any of the movies I saw, but I know they showed brief shorts and movies, and they kept us busy
Yeah.
while parents shopped at Belmont Cragen. But any movie that I was interested in seeing, or that the family was interested in seeing, the Catholic Reporter would open up the newspaper or whatever it was called at the time, and there was a column in there for parents. These are the movies that fit within the Catholic framework in life. So even
Right.
if I wanted to see this film,
You
I wouldn't
couldn't.
have passed the Catholic Reporter
Yeah.
and
Oh,
passed my
no.
ability to see
No.
it. So I didn't see it. This kind of also follows the framework of Aldrich's work, also shot in black and white. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, also starring Bette Davis. And I've seen parts of that. I'm not sure I've sat through a whole watch of it. That one, I think, the title scared me more than Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. And Bette Davis in that movie is full tilt boogie in that one. She is just
Yeah. You should
child
watch that one too.
star. Yeah. So for some reason, she felt comfortable working with Robert Aldrich, apparently, because she did two of these kind of genre films with him. Let's talk about Agnes Moorehead, since you brought her up.
Love her. Absolutely loved her. I thought her acting was phenomenal. Of course, I had only known her from Bewitched.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I mean, oh, at first I didn't even recognize her. I thought, that's Agnes Moorehead. I thought, oh my gosh. She had Charlotte's back. She was the
Yeah.
only person, except for, was it Cecil Kelly? Yeah. As, who, by the way, was in Harvey, Dr. Chumley. Remember
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sure.
loved him. Yeah, but Agnes Moorehead had been with her as her housekeeper for all those years, and she really, I mean, she came across as a real hard-nosed kind of person, but she just really looked out for Charlotte, Bette Davis, and I really appreciated her role in the movie. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
shall I say, unfortunately, she was killed in a very dramatic scene
Yeah.
with Olivia de Havilland, but I really appreciated her acting in this movie.
Yeah, like you, it's like, okay, wait a minute. I'm looking at the list of characters and I don't see Agnes
Mm-hmm.
Moorehead. And then I had to put it
Mm-hmm.
together to realize that she was the caretaker
Yeah.
or primary caretaker of Charlotte, Bette Davis's character, over the years. And I watched her and I listened particularly to her voice and her dialogue. And there was a little bit of cringy with me on that because her
I knew that.
affectation sounded more like Southern black in some places than
Yeah, I
Southern
could
white.
I could hear that too.
You know, and there was almost kind of a mammy kind of affectation to it. Yeah, we're talking about Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, and in the background there's a terrible thunderstorm going on, and my dog is
Oh,
going nuts. So it just fits
oh,
the
sorry.
genre as we talk about
It
it.
does.
So
There's a terrible thunderstorm there too.
yeah, I stopped listening for it because I kept hearing it, and nonetheless, her movement, her expressions, her energy. I think she did a wonderful. She was nominated. So, did she win any awards on this?
Yeah, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and she won the Golden Globe for that.
Yeah. So yeah, she won for a Golden Globe, but this movie was passed over, although nominated, I think, for like 7 Oscars. It was passed over on all of them, including the song "Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte," which goes through the movie, but I guess Drew does sing it a little bit at the piano
He does.
before it gets to the end of the film, and there is some. It's played over at the end of the film, but it lost. What were its competition? My Kind of Town from Seven and the Robin and the Seven Hoods. It was sort of a.
Don't know that.
It was a. God, the Rat Pack movie
Yeah, yeah.
where they steal from. Yeah, but My Kind of Town, Chicago is. It's a Sammy
Oh,
Cahn
okay.
film.
Okay.
Lyrics by Sammy Cahn. And then Where Has Love Gone? What else was the winner was Mary Poppins, Chimmy Chim Cheree. So it's
Yeah.
no surprise that it lost on that one, I guess. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte is probably a much sweeter ballad than any of these other ones, but it went. They had some popular challenges there with the music piece. And I'm trying to see if there were any nominations. There wasn't any nominations in the actor role. There was no nominations for actress in a supporting role. We have Agnes Moorehead. The winner was Lila Kadrova from Zorba the Greek, a film that I haven't seen. Art direction in black and white. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte was up for that. Zorba the Greek won
Yeah.
that.
You
Cinematography.
might have to
Zorba the
check
Greek.
that movie.
Yeah, Zorba the Greek won that in cinematography over Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Costume design, Night of the Iguana, Dorothy Jenkins won for costume design in that film. They were dividing films between black and white and color, so they gave awards in both categories.
Okay.
No award for directing on this one. The winner for directing was My Fair Lady with George Cukor. It was up against Beckett, Dr. Strangelove, which we covered, Mary Poppins,
Right.
and Zorba the Greek. So yeah, it was an interesting year for awards considering the movies that were up, but although nominated in a bunch of categories, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte didn't win in them.
I wondered if the music would bother you throughout the movie because there's been other movies where you say that song just played over and over and over again. But this one, there were so many variations of it.
Yeah, it was done in
I
different
wondered if it,
styles. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was aware of it. I was looking for it. You know, you have Joseph Cotten singing it at one point, and does a fairly good job with it. I'd hate to have to say.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have like the large dance that they have at the beginning, the large party, and it's done in sort of a stylish antebellum sort of sound or approach. And so it goes in different styles. Yeah, I did recognize that. It's sort of like I could pick out the melody, but in different places in the movie in different styles. So it didn't bother me too much.
Good. Did you
Yeah.
notice toward the end of the movie when she was, Bette Davis, I say she,
Yeah.
was having her delusion and she was remembering back to the party with her former beau, John, and she was dancing with him. Everybody else in the background, did you see they had like a white
Yeah.
face mask? That was
Yeah.
interesting, I thought. I'm sure I never saw that when I was little. I thought that was quite
Yeah.
interesting.
I kind of saw that immediately because I wanted to see what was going on and thought it was a fascinating look. So we knew we weren't doing a flashback. We knew that we were doing
Right,
a delusional
right.
piece because the folks were faceless. It
Yeah, faceless.
it made me think of Eyes Wide Shut, but we won't go there. Eyes Wide Shut, they wear masks for other reasons. The
Oh,
Stanley Kubrick film, one of his, I think his last film.
it sounds like, oh, the one I don't want to watch.
The one you don't want to watch.
Clockwork Orange. It sounds like Clockwork Orange to me.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
different. We'll talk about this off show.
yeah.
It is. I follow the Stanley Kubrick subreddit, and so I'm learning more about Stanley Kubrick movies than I ever wanted to or should know with people's opinions.
Okay,
And one of the movies they talk about a lot is Eyes Wide Shut.
okay.
They actually spend more time talking about that film than they do about Clockwork Orange. All of those, unfortunately for me, are out of our time frame
Yes,
because
fortunately for me.
I know that fortunately for you because I know that would test your patience.
Oh, yeah.
But this is let's get back to the film. Let me give some basics. Directed by Robert Aldrich, as we had mentioned, based on Henry Farrell's unpublished short story, Whatever Happened to Cousin Charlotte, which I guess was an original title.
Yes.
And they wanted to change it. Well, Bette Davis wanted to change it because it was too close to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And so they changed it to what became the title song and the title theme, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Bette Davis is Charlotte Hollis, Olivia de Havilland as Miriam Deering, and Joseph Cotten as Dr. Drew Bayless. We need to talk about those main actors and their kind of impact. Supporting roles, Agnes Moorehead as Velma Cruther, Cecil Kellaway as Harry Willis, Mary Astor, who we know from The Maltese Falcon. She's the
Yes.
femme fatale. And this was, I think, her last role
It was, yeah.
from what I read, and almost unrecognizable in this film.
Glad you said that.
If you've only seen her in Maltese Falcon, which is probably the one that folks have seen her in, almost recognizable. I got to mention a early role for Bruce Dern, a very, very early role for Bruce Dern. And Bruce Dern, as we know him, I remember him in older characters, not necessarily a handsome leading man in some of the films I've seen him in. This one, he is striking in terms of being a leading man. He's kind of a jerk, because he's married
Well,
to
cheating on his wife.
Mary Astor's character and is cheating on her with Charlotte. I want to talk about Victor Buono. Victor Buono, interesting actor, and interesting actor. Couple of things that shadowed over his life was that he was very large. So he was also in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
He was Edwin Flagg. And I'm not exactly sure the role he played in that as Edwin Flagg.
Okay.
Again, it's one of the movies that I haven't seen. But he was also in, ironically, Robin and the Seven Hoods. So he shows up for Texas, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. He shows up as character actors in a lot of this. What I remember Victor Buono for was Batman, seeing him appear in some of these movies later in my life and going back and looking at these films. But he also was a frequent guest on Johnny Carson. And
maybe that's where I remember him.
he would kind of be brought on like Truman Capote was also a regular guest on for the kind of let's bring on the artistic gay person. I hate to put it that way, but he had that air about him, and he was also Shakespearean trained. So he won awards for, and one of the things that he was most proud of was his role in Falstaff, which makes sense in terms of Shakespeare, big, large presence in terms of Falstaff. And he really loved that role. And he was always kind of perceived the world through his Shakespearean training. He was a closeted gay. And that kind of tortured him for a lot of his career. And so, back at that time in Hollywood, that was still kind of a mark and issue in terms of gender and sexuality. And if you read a little bit about his biography, I'd encourage people to do that. Go in and take a look at his IMDb, look at a Wikipedia on him. You'll find out that he really was quite a colorful character. The reason he got on Carson was he decided to kind of embrace this weight thing, and he did a record, a comedy record called Victor Buono's Heavy. And he used to like to write poems, and he recited the Fat Man's Prayer, I think it was, on Carson. And I looked it up. It's brief. It's okay. But Carson said, you need to do a comedy record. So he did a whole comedy record on a small label that was based basically on weight jokes. And maybe one or two about relationships, but definitely not about, his gender. But done in that Victor Buono Shakespearean way of doing it. Yes. So I'm fascinated with him as an actor. And when I started to do some research on it, I got to get a better understanding of his life and his struggles. So, yeah, that's one that I definitely wanted to talk about in this show. Go back and appreciate yourself some Buono.
Yeah, you had said that prior to this that you really enjoyed him, and I wasn't aware of any of that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I might be wrong about this, Marty, but did he smoke cigars in this movie? I thought in the beginning when he was talking to John, he had a box of cigars on his desk.
Yeah,
but
I didn't
or anything.
I didn't identify the cigars.
I didn't think so.
Kind of went through me, and there was nothing descript about the cigars in there. Now you really want to make me go back and watch it again.
Well, I tried, and I even asked Claude, and I Googled it, but there was nothing.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Let's talk about the combination of Agnes Moorehead and which we've already spoken about, but Joseph Cotten. Agnes Moorehead and Joseph Cotten, we were talking that maybe for our 50th episode, we will do Citizen Kane. So we'll foreshadow that because you haven't seen it and I've seen it so many times, I can't stand it at this point. A movie shown in all film classes and a kind of a classic movie
Sure.
that people have to see at least once. So we're thinking of doing Citizen Kane, but Citizen Kane was put together by Orson Welles. And when he got the green light on that, he said, I'm bringing all my character actors with me. So they had a thing called the Mercury Players, which was basically Orson Welles' troupe of character actors, Agnes Moorehead and Joseph Cotten, both in the Mercury Players. So this goes back years before this movie, but it was interesting to see them come up together in this film. And I guess, I'm not sure if they appeared in other films together, but it's always interesting when I see particularly Joseph Cotten show up in a film. There are some other films that Orson Welles did, like The Third Man, that he appears in, Joseph Cotten appears in. And so if you follow Orson Welles' career, you'll see the movies that he put together. He might be in The Lady from Shanghai. I don't know. But if you follow Orson Welles' career, you'll see that Joseph Cotten is attached to a lot of his projects, particularly Citizen Kane.
I almost didn't recognize him in this movie.
Yeah.
We had seen him in Gaslight, totally opposite character in Gaslight. And I believe it must have been younger because I really
Yeah.
almost didn't recognize him. And of course, his, exaggerated Southern drawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's underrated and underrecognized. Solid actor, supposedly was
Yeah.
always prepared on set, but unrecognized by the generally by the movie community in terms of his work. So, have you got some trivia for us?
I do. In the beginning of the movie, of course, in his beautiful old mansion, they had all these beautiful paintings. Did you notice there was always this was just me noticing, there was a pull, like a bell pull, almost hanging with a tassel from each painting? And there must have been a light attached to it because I remember at one point, Olivia de Havilland, or it might have been Joseph Cotten, one of the two of them turned it off. And I went, oh, I never noticed that. The movie was so dark, and at that particular time, there was a light behind this painting, and they pulled it and it went off. And I looked at all the paintings going up the stairs, and they all had these pulls on them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that was something that was just common during that time period. I had never seen that before in a movie. That was just my little
See,
bit
I would
of,
go back and look at that to see if there's any
I'm going to have
symbolism.
to now.
Whose painting did they turn off?
Turn it off, yeah.
Yeah.
But the painting of young Charlotte in the beginning of the movie, that was the Charlotte, of course, Bette Davis. It was actually a painting from her role as Julia in Jezebel from
Oh,
1938, which I have not seen that movie. So
yeah, I
now I
haven't
need to
seen
go
that
back
either.
and watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you notice when they were packing up the house and they had all the boxes and they kind of did a little bit of a close up and I saw a printed text on the one. I thought, wonder if that means something. So I kind of looked that up. It was stenciled Sam Stranges, Storage and Transfer, Baton Rouge, LA. And he was the assistant director on the movie.
Oh, okay. So
Because
that
I
was
thought,
a
why are
kind
they
of an
showing us
inside.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an inside joke
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of actresses that were approached for this. Probably the big story around it was,
Yeah.
Barbara Stanwyck and
Crawford.
Loretta Young were both approached for it. Loretta Young said, I don't want to do it because I don't believe in horror stories for women. And I wouldn't play that part if I was starving. Apparently, it went to Joan Crawford first. And
Right?
well, we're talking about Miriam's. Miriam's role apparently went
Yes.
to Joan Crawford first. And all I saw was that she was dealing with some illness and they had to recast her. And they went to search for Olivia de Havilland, who was living in Switzerland. And so the director took efforts to get there to convince her to come back and do this role. There was no love lost between Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, and I wonder why.
No.
If you look at the characters in the movies that they were in, the characters are very similar in terms of how they approach. That I think Bette Davis was thrilled that they did not have to work together.
Yes. Well, you need to go back and watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane because they were in that movie together.
Yeah, and that might be might hit some clues. Now there have been some biopics of Bette Davis and her relationship with different actresses, and
Yeah.
there is the portrayal of and the one that came out. I don't know, maybe it was on FX or AMC that came out that did not show that they had a good working relationship together on the films
Right.
that they were on. So, to the degree that Robert Aldrich had to separate them and was massaging their egos at separate times. Other trivia.
There was the whole Coca-Cola Pepsi challenge.
Go ahead and talk about that. I just looked at my notes and saw it. But go ahead.
Well, Betty Davis drank Coca-Cola and Crawford drank Pepsi because her husband, ever since her husband died, she was on the Pepsi, she was a board member.
Remember?
And
Yeah.
so and so Betty Davis would always drink Coca-Cola just to needle her. And they said that after, I guess this was after maybe she was replaced, that Betty Davis arranged to have a Coca-Cola truck drive through a shot while they were filming just to kind of stick it to her again.
Yeah, she had obviously had something going on with her. She dozed off in her trailer, and it was kind of her last
Yeah.
day of shooting.
And they left
And
her
when she
there.
dozed off on her trading, everybody by then had forgotten she was in her trailer and left her on the set.
Yeah.
And when she woke
Yeah.
up, there was no way to get back to her hotel. The hotel accommodations weren't ready when she arrived, and leaving her to wait in the lobby, and then being put in a bungalow next to the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
And Davis's bungalow
Yeah.
was much bigger. So
Bigger.
there's
Yeah.
all sorts of fun stuff about this movie. No, not
Yeah.
fun if you happen to be Joan Crawford, I guess.
No. But Betty Davis loved working with Olivia de Havilland and
Yeah.
Agnes Moorehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why. It might have been character, personality, that there wasn't a challenge there. There was respect. Or it could have been that these actresses really didn't threaten her like a top name billing like Crawford. So,
So I have to ask you, because you're so good
Okay.
at this, I want to know, did you figure out the ending? Did you know who actually killed John?
oh yeah, I figured it out after the first meeting with his ex-wife. The character Mary Astor played, Jewel.
Joel May.
And the thing was, I kind of didn't pay a lot of attention to the party. And I need to go back
Okay.
and watch that first hour, and particularly the first beginning, because I think there's a lot that's foreshadowed in there. But yeah, when Miriam meets Jewel, in front of a courthouse. I could not figure. I assumed it was a courthouse. I could not figure out why she was dressed in mourning, black, and her reaction. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah,
did
she
it.
hated her. Yeah,
And
she was
then,
blackmailing her.
particularly when the British actor Cecil Kellaway comes as Harry Willis to interview her, it's like, yeah, she did it. So that was not highly revealed. Was not hidden very well. It was easily revealed to me.
Yeah.
And then,
But up until that point, did you think Bette Davis did it, or did you think her father did it? No. You
here's
still
why.
thought from the very... Okay, go ahead.
Here's why. They appeared later after the murder without any blood. Bette Davis had a little blood, but not enough
Right.
for someone who cut off a hand and was close enough, and cut off a head and was close
Yeah.
enough. So I was a little taken back. It was like, they smeared some on her dress. That's not someone who just chopped somebody up. So yeah, I had doubts. What I did notice was the blood on her dress and the fact that they had cast a shadow over her face so you really couldn't see her, but you knew it was Charlotte. So her younger characters were never shot in full light, from what I remember.
True.
And Victor Buono, no blood, no.
Yeah.
Something like that, you would be covered in blood. So it might
Yeah.
have been a problem with the continuity or with the thinking about what someone who did that to somebody that close would be have a problem with being coated in blood, splatter everywhere, and or it might have been that was true to form, that she saw him, she maybe tried to figure out what was going on and got some blood on her. So, yeah, I never really was confused by that. The surprise for me, if there was a surprise to be found, was the gaslighting that Miriam and Dr. Drew were doing.
True.
And I
So
kind
you
of
thought Miriam really came to help her in the beginning?
I thought she did, but I kind of think it was she didn't come with the full intent of capturing the inheritance. However, she was the only one left in the family, so it could have been a logical thought that she came with the intent, and then was able to connect with Dr. Drew, who seemed like a little bit of a masher, and I'm not sure he was drunk a lot,
No.
at least when he wasn't seeing patients. And I'm not sure he saw a future with Miriam that she didn't see with him. So, about splitting the inheritance and all of that. So, yeah.
I don't know though. I'm not sure about that, because at one point she said toward the end of the movie, she said, "Do you really think you're smart enough to have pulled this whole thing off?" He didn't know about her writing all the letters
Yeah.
to Joel. She had been doing that for years and years and years, blackmailing her. And she said to him, "Do you really think you're the smarter one?" And then he said, "Well, I think I have the upper hand on you, because now that the housekeeper was dead, that she had killed her."
Yeah.
So,
So
go
you're
back and
probably
watch it again.
you're making a case that they did. It was planned. It was premeditated from
I think
Miriam's
so.
point of view.
I
Okay.
think so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This bothered me, and so of course I did a deep dive on it. I have to go back and look at the character's name. John Megna. John
Who's
Megna
that?
was the little boy
Oh,
that was sent
yes.
into the house at the beginning. And I looked at
Yes.
it and I said, I've seen that face so many times before, or at
Yep.
least I believed I did. Now, all
Me
kids
too.
of that age in movie, I said, was he in a Twilight Zone? Was he in a, and then I thought, is this Billy Mummy, from Lost in Space, who went on to
Yeah.
have, and he's still alive. But I pursued John Megna as a character. He was in To Kill a Mockingbird. He played Dill.
Oh, okay.
He also played in Cannonball Run and Policewoman. He didn't have, well, he had about 30 or so credits. Smokey and the Bandit 2. Unfortunately, his career stopped around 1985, and I'm like, why? And then I went and looked at his biography, and he died of AIDS-related complications. So this was a time where, AIDS was rampant. We didn't know how to deal with it, and he succumbed apparently to AIDS-related complications. Not in any of the movies or shows that I thought he would be in or that I remember him being in, like no Twilight Zone from what I can tell. He was in an Alfred Hitchcock in To Kill a Mockingbird. So
Well,
yeah,
he had such a distinctive look. I kind of thought the same thing. Oh, the other boys are just typical little boys, but he was very awkward looking, to
yes,
put it
yeah,
blunt.
and he had that kind
Awkward.
of buck teeth kind of
Yeah.
look, and it was a well done role for him.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just went down that rabbit hole. Let me see what else he's been in. Wait a minute, he stopped acting in 1985. Why? And then,
Okay.
sure enough, pursuing that, I found that little piece of trivia about him.
Interesting.
Anything else? I did pursue the Hollis House in Louisiana as a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
plantation. In
Yeah.
fact, if you look at our partner podcast, One Scene, the episode that will come out related to this is going to be on gaslighting. And I've managed to find a picture of that house from that time, an exterior shot. And that's part of the graphic that you'll see either in the video. Well, you'll see it in the video. You'd have to look at the video to see that graphic. But the rest of it was reconstructed in a Hollywood set, except for the exteriors.
Yeah, it cost $200,000 to build a replica. In fact, one of the most striking scenes that I remember, it was toward the end of the movie. It was when, what was his name? Hollis? No,
Which character?
Cecil Holloway. Cecil
Yeah.
Holloway.
It was Willis.
Willis, thank you. Hollis was their name. Willis, when he was speaking to Joe Mayhew about the
Yeah.
insurance policy and why she didn't cash it in. And of
Yeah.
course, we know now why she didn't cash it in because there had been an investigation. But that beautiful scene where they're sitting outside her her home and there's beautiful trees, like the big arch trees, you know how they are down
Right.
south. They kind of form a canopy and that beautiful scene. I thought, is that a real I thought to myself, now look at those trees. They're not
It is.
moving. Is it? It almost
It
looked
is
like a
a
matte
plantation.
painting.
I spent my fair share in the South, in South Carolina.
Okay.
And there is a plantation in South Carolina on the coast around Myrtle Beach that's a very popular tourist site. And, plantations bring the whole history of oppression that goes on. So, you don't, although they were plentiful in Charleston and Myrtle Beach, where I was, that is a entranceway into one of those plantations. I can't remember which, but it is
Okay.
I
Is
think
it
it was a still shot. I think they did it with
okay?
like green screen. I don't think they did it
Okay.
live from the porch of that particular plantation. But yeah, that
Okay.
overarching long row of trees.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
see
it's
in other
beautiful.
movies have
Hmm.
used it for sets in other movies, but I remember it because I lived about 10 miles up the road from there.
Okay. It said Houmas, Houmas House Plantation outside Baton Rouge is where
I
the outside location was filmed. And I thought
Yeah,
to myself, I've been to South Carolina and I've seen similar scenes. And I thought at first it looked like an actual outside shot, but then I couldn't see anything moving. So that's why I wasn't sure if it was real or
yeah.
not.
I don't think they could have done the shot from the Homus plantation because, the drive up of there. You see it at the end where it's a circular
Hmm.
drive essentially, and you can see that in some of the stills from the picture. But when I saw the shot with the long entrance, he couldn't done it from there because she lived in a different house, and so they did the
Hmm.
porch setup, and then they just did a stock photo as the background,
Okay.
probably
Okay.
from that one that you and I have both been to.
Okay.
That would be my assumption on how it was put together. Saved them the cost of having to get rights from the particular place that they were
Hmm.
going to shoot from. I mean, there's lots of things that just get permission to use the still. Um,
One of my favorite, and I realize now again, I keep noticing things that I have a common thread going through a lot of the movies that I like.
yeah,
I get so distracted with the lighting in the movies. This one in
good for
particular, I
you.
mean, the light, yeah,
For me,
the
that's
lighting
all
was
I see. It's like the
was
wannabe
so
director in both
dramatic.
of us. You know.
Oh my gosh, the lighting and the staircase, and I mean, it's just breathtaking if you can forget what's going on in the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe that's why I love black and white films. It would not have been the same in color, not even close.
Yeah. And I think people don't appreciate what you can do in black and white. And
Mm,
and during this period of time, people were making clear decisions. This would look like a campy horror film if it was shot in color. That would be my take on it.
mm,
It would be like a Vincent
mm-mm.
Price kind of film versus black and white gives it the feeling
An
of
edge.
much more
Yeah,
shadows and lightness and darkness.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a cool catch on your part. And I'm glad you're beginning to appreciate lighting. We've got you on set design, and now
Oh,
we've
yeah,
got you on lighting.
yeah.
And as and I think you'll find too, if you like David Lean's movie we talked about last week, the cinematography, there are similar sort of full wide shots in Bridge on the River Kwai that was also the same kind of full wide shots that we saw in Lawrence of Arabia. Um, the shots are kind of encompassing as much of the troops that you can. You see some other so my excitement for you is as you start to get into more directors, you'll really start to pay attention to like David Fincher is he does a tone to his movies currently, and you can see it through all the movies that he's done. He did The Social Network, and it's sort of a dark kind of tone to it. And he uses music the same way. So as you start to gather a catalog of looking at more
Mm,
directors, you start to really look for, oh, I know this is going to be a movie that David Fincher does. I'm gonna expect this tone, this feel. They're gonna use music from the guy from Nine Inch Nails, which is he
mm,
has him score a lot of his films. So, for example, if you want to look at other contemporary directors like Christopher Nolan, who now The Odyssey is out now, that's his current film, you'll see the same sort of shooting styles done with that as he had in his other films. So you look at things like Tenet, which was kind of a mindscape kind of, that is a interesting film. He
Tenant.
was producer on that Tenet,
What year is that?
Also,
I'm sorry, is that
2020.
current? Okay.
2020, yeah. Dunkirk, which was done in 2017. Interstellar, which was done in 2014. So people wait for Christopher Nolan films because they have this kind of vision in terms of the film. I haven't seen The Odyssey yet. My son has, and he said we need to go see it again, or he needs to go see it again for that reason. So yeah, when you start getting into directors, you start getting into their style, just like Stanley Kubrick, in a lot of ways too. So,
Yeah.
any other things that you want to share about the movie before we close up?
Well, talking about directing, well, of course, the staircase scenes. There were several staircase scenes which were very dramatic. But one scene that was kind of just kind of caught me at the very end when they were all standing outside waiting for Bette Davis to come out of her home. Everybody was like all the town gossips were there. They just a lot of women, and they were just sitting around gossiping about her and wondering, what had happened and where they were going to take her. And there were these three women, and they zoomed in to just their three mouths,
Yeah,
just their mouths talking, blah, 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 blah. And then they panned back out to who they were. And I thought that was kind of interesting
yeah,
that I really noticed that they
yeah.
focused on just the three mouths and
And
their gossip.
I guess the symbolism for me in that is that it's just talk. It's all talk,
Yeah,
talk, 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 talk.
yeah, yeah,
I really appreciated there. It was interesting when she comes out of the house, and then there's the photographer,
oh,
the newspaper
yeah,
guy from the disreputable
mm-hmm,
newspaper. Says, may I have a picture?" And she
mm-hmm,
stops and she poses, and there's like a pride on her face. It's like
yes,
she's been released from the accusations that she had all
mm-hmm,
her life. And then again, a second photographer, and she takes a different pose. And there's like you look at her face and you can see a sense of release and a sense of
yeah,
almost pride that, ha ha,
yeah,
not spiteful, but ha
no.
ha,
Oh,
this is, now you know what my life has been and what you've kind of
mm-hmm.
condemned me to.
Wasn't he the same photographer that took the awful picture of her the night that she opened the door by surprise
Right.
in the
Yeah.
flash? He was the
Yeah.
same photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Willis, the British newspaper guy, did not have much good to say about him when he met
No.
with the local newspaper to go through their archives.
No.
It was quite clear that he was coming from a
Bad place.
sort
Yeah.
of a news of the world kind of thing.
So, did you have a
Yeah,
favorite scene?
I would have to say the scene that I just described, her coming out of the
Mm.
house, because that was uh, a vindication of her innocence and
Yep.
a once everybody gets the right story in that group, because there were people chattering about, I don't know what it is, where's she going now, all of
Right.
that. Once the real story is revealed, and my guess it would be revealed by the British newspaper reporter in combination with the local papers to kind of explain it. That scene is so she's going to be locked up, but it's so freeing in that sense. She's been locked up all her life. This is just a
Yeah.
different place
Yeah.
to be locked up in, but at least the truth has come out for her. So that would be my favorite scene.
Okay.
Ironically, I had gotten a copy of the movie, and for some reason it started at that last scene. I don't know why. It didn't start, but somehow I clicked on it and it opened up to that last scene where she's
Hmm.
being driven off. So I knew we were going to head to that point somewhere in the movie. And I couldn't quite understand,
Interesting.
because I hadn't seen the movie, the significance of that scene until I saw the whole movie and got to the end of it and what that meant.
Well, my favorite scene, I do enjoy the ending of the movie. It's so bittersweet. And I have to say it makes me cry a little bit each time. I feel so relieved for her, but that music, I find that music sad. Even the
Yeah.
sheriff, whoever it was, he kind of waved to her like, I think they
Yeah.
all, yeah, it was very subtle, but he gave a little wave to her and smiled. But my favorite scene was at the end, toward the end of the movie, uh, Miriam and Dr. Drew, Olivia and Joseph Cotten, they are celebrating, a little too soon, but
Yeah.
they're celebrating and talking about their next move and what they're going to do to Charlotte in the morning and how this is going to be like their final thing they have to do and this is going to really, you know, make everybody think she's crazy and they have a doctor coming and they're going to, have to commit her and she's up on the balcony listening
Yeah.
and she's listening to everything they say and she'd already pushed off one of those urns in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
which I love that too. And she took her hands and she shoved that urn off the top of the balcony there. And the two of them are down below, Olivia de Havilland and Joseph Cotton. They're embracing and, thinking they've just got this made. And Olivia de Havilland looks up and screams, and that urn comes smashing them down and you see their bodies lying on the ground. And then they go back to Bette Davis, Charlotte, and she has that same look on her face. She's not terrified like she was when she thought she killed
Yeah.
Drew. Really didn't kill him. It was like a sense of, ha, I'm going to be okay. Yes, I just killed two people, but I'm not crazy. It's like she
Yeah.
finally had that sense of relief, like, okay, it's not me.
Right.
I'm going to be all right. Like you
So
said,
the
all her
gaslighting was
life.
it was revealed to her. It's
Yeah,
sort of like I
yeah.
haven't been crazy, and they've been telling me I
I
have, but
haven't been crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, almost like a calmness came over her, even though
yeah,
she had just killed two people.
yeah, and we
But
see
I love it.
that.
I could watch that over and over again. Just shove that urn over and kill them.
Yeah, and you never find out what's in the letter that Miriam or that
No.
Jewel sent to be given to her on the point of her death. You just see her
Yes.
reaction to it. Now, the letter was sealed until they
Yes.
gave it to her, and in the car, it suddenly became unsealed.
Yeah.
But you get to see her read the note, but you don't know what it says. And you can only imagine that it is maybe her clearing the truth, asking for forgiveness.
That's what I figure.
You
Her
don't know
confession.
what, yeah, you don't know what Jewel wrote in the letter, but you can see it.
Hmm.
You can see it overcome in her face. Now, I am
Hmm.
not a big Bette Davis fan like you are. She just creeps me out, and she is like a person I don't think I'd want to be around. But a lot. And I would say Judy Garland would be the same.
Ugh. Oh, I don't
She
like
kind
her.
of creeps me out, and her offstage stuff would say this is not my friend. But
Hmm.
I can see the depth of her acting in the different portions of this film. There were some points when she was acting, I thought she is really a little too over the top on this. Sort of
Hmm.
like Agnes Moorehead, that it could have been played with a
Hmm.
little bit more, a little subtle, a little bit subtle. But generally, the transformation at the end from the dropping of the flower pot on the two devilish characters to the drive away, you can see some stretch in acting there. Um,
Well, I'm going to recommend two other movies that you may want to watch. Well, three. You should watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
okay.
But yeah, I know. But there's two other, and we watched All About Eve with Bette
Yeah.
Davis. But there's two
Yeah.
other movies that she's in. She is completely different, and I think you
Mhm.
would be amazed. Now Voyager is one,
Yeah.
and the other one is All That in Heaven too, I believe it is. She's a
Huh.
completely different person in those movies.
I'm saying this and thinking, yeah, she's
I can't
also
do it.
she's a big drag queen icon too. That's that's the other
Ah.
thing.
Oh, Marty.
Yeah, I know. Do we have anything more to say
Well,
about this?
no, that's all.
Okay.
That's all.
Then let's talk about next movie. We are jumping from 64 to 34. So we're
34.
going back 30 years. It's not the complete palate cleanser I would want. It's not a comedy necessarily, but we've got to address this series. And we're going to start with the first movie in the Thin Man series with William Powell and Myrna Loy. So both based on, well, they did, I don't know, maybe 5 movies. I'll check that before the next, together over many years. They enjoyed their relationship together on the set a great deal, from what I've read about it. Because I'm kind of a Myrna Loy and William Powell nut. So
Oh,
we're
I
going to
like them
do
too.
The Thin Man. I've watched this film multiple times and I still have trouble following the crime and the
Oh,
criminals.
no.
And it has that big reveal at the end where he goes around and he kind of fills in the narrative. And it happens too fast for me to put the pieces together. But the film outside of that is really enjoyable because of the characters that they create in the film.
So
So
I'm really going to struggle.
well,
That's
don't
what you're
try to
saying. I'm really going to
yeah.
struggle.
Don't try. I don't try to figure it out too much. This is a film that I run in the
Okay.
background when it's on and I'm doing work, and I'm having a hard time. I'm enjoying the movie, but I'm having a hard time following the plot line. Now, there are probably people who are listening to this is like, "What are you, an idiot?" And you might say that next week too.
Oh, I
Directed by
doubt it.
directed by W.S. Van Dyke. Have you seen this? Have you seen this film?
I think I've watched little pieces here and there,
Yeah.
but no, I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's W.S. Van Dyke. It's written by Albert Hackett, Francis Goodrich, and then based on characters of Dashiell Hammett. And Dashiell Hammett, I believe, was involved in the writing of this too, more than just a reference to his work. It's got Cesar Romero's in it as supporting characters. It's got, I thought Jim Stewart was in this first one. But if I'm looking at the top cast list and he's not listed there. So he must have been in another Thin Man film. But I have seen them. But just the relationship between Myrna Loy and William Powell, who William Powell has kind of had a colorful life in this role, in this character prior to, which puts him as he kind of ran around with the muck and kind of helped people out. So he has a connection, a network to find things out, and he knows some of the mobby type people. Then he married Myrna Loy, who had a lot of money. And so he's now living the life of Riley, but he keeps being called back in to solve mysteries. So
I was going to say, why is this a series? Why
because
is there more than one?
because it was really popular. These characters are really popular. And it's not like there were, I mean, Dashiell Hammett, I'm not sure about the background in terms of writing of this character, but he wrote a lot around this character, so they had material to draw from. But it was such a popular connection between these two, and of course, Asta the dog, which
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
the one that'll grab you. So
Yeah, we
Next
know him.
episode that we do is The Thin Man from 1934 with William Powell and Myrna Loy. And we'll try and do some of the questions that we don't know now. We'll try and have known for the next time we do it. And the episode is going to be, we're going to take a week off. Cindy's doing some vacationing. I've got stuff to prepare for. So it comes at a time where we'll be able to watch this movie. So look for us 2 weeks from now with an episode that will be The Thin Man from 1934. So enjoy that film if you haven't seen it. Don't try to figure out the mystery too much. Don't work too hard at it. Just enjoy the characters and the reveal that happens at the end. So, Cindy, thank you for doing this. This has been fun. We're already talking about our 50th episode. And
hard to believe.
Yeah, this has been really a great deal of fun to do this series with you. And we each challenge each other. And my challenge this week was watch a gothic Bette Davis psychological thriller, horror-ish type movie.
We said before, what genre is this? Southern Gothic? Is that what they consider it?
Yeah, Southern well, but if you just say that, it removes the whole mystery from it. It could be Southern Gothic without any murders in it, and it could just be a narrative storyline. So generally, it's not encapsulated as one, but they mention Southern Gothic, they mention horror, and they mention psychological thriller. And actually, I would put psychological thriller first in that list. Mm-hmm. And then Southern Gothic, and then horror. Because who hasn't seen heads roll down the stairways? That's what we call Tuesday in my neck of the woods. So, yeah, that's the classification for this. So we're going to a true mystery comedy when we do The Thin Man from 1934. We'll do that in 2 weeks. So that's all we've got. That's it for the episode. We will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us. Hey, take a look at one scene, the camera and the couch, which is a 10-minute single shot of me talking about, in this case, gaslighting and how it fits in with this film. And we will be back again in 2 weeks with The Thin Man from 1934. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for joining us and being a part of this journey into classic films from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And we'll see you next time.